What if Texas has been hiding something massive from you? Not some small thing you can ignore and move on from. Towns where your retirement dollar does not just stretch, but multiplies. We are talking about places where seniors now legally pay zero school taxes. Towns where a home costs less than a brand new pickup truck. And one town on this list has a price you cannot believe. Number 1 on this list will completely reframe Texas retirement for you. But here is what most retirement videos never actually tell you honestly. They send you straight to Austin or San Antonio every single time. Not today on Texas Reality. We are taking you somewhere that the crowds have not found yet. These are towns your realtor has never once bothered to mention to you. Your neighbor does not know a single one of them by name, and the folks already living there would love to keep this quiet. Too bad for them, and way too good for you watching right now. These places deserve to be found before big money catches on completely. So before that happens, subscribe to the channel, and let's start the countdown. Number 10. Granbury. Granbury has won Best Historic Small Town in America 4 separate times. The 2025 USA Today Award went right back to Granbury again. Most Americans still cannot point to it on any map whatsoever. That alone tells you everything about how underrated this town truly is. 30 miles from Fort Worth puts you close to serious medical care, but far enough away that quiet mornings become your new daily normal. Now, let's talk money, because that is exactly why you came here. Cost of living in Granbury sits 18% below the national average. That gap adds up to thousands of real dollars staying in your pocket. About 30% of Granbury's population is already aged 65 and older. This did not happen by accident or by any kind of luck. Retirees kept quietly finding this place and telling absolutely nobody else about it. Lake Granbury wraps itself right around the edges of the entire town. Boating, fishing, and waterfront walks happen here on regular weekday afternoons comfortably. The 1891 limestone courthouse square is one of Texas's most intact historic squares. The Granbury Opera House runs live theater inside a restored 19th century venue. Assisted living averages around $4,195 every month here. That sits $305 below the national monthly average cost. For a town this charming, that number feels almost embarrassingly good to say. 20 or more retirement communities are actively operating throughout Granbury right now. Options exist across practically every budget level that a retiree might have. Now for the honest part you actually need to hear from us. Tourism is picking up noticeably faster than it used to around here. Hood County property taxes are not the lowest you will find in Texas, and more people are discovering Granbury with every passing year right now. If this town is on your radar, do not sit on the decision. Number 9. Mineola. Most people drive straight through Mineola at 70 miles per hour easily. They are going somewhere else, and that is exactly why this works. August 2025 median listing price was $299,000. Compare that to the statewide median of $364,500. You are already $65,000 ahead before you even start to negotiate. Here is the one detail about Mineola that nobody ever actually talks about. This town still has a fully working Amtrak passenger rail station operating today. One of only a handful of small Texas towns with real passenger rail. If long drives are not your thing, then Mineola gives you a real option. The Mineola Nature Preserve covers 2,900 acres along the Sabine River. Over 193 bird species have been officially documented right out there. Birding capital of East Texas is not just a tagline somebody made up. If that description sounds like your retirement, you just found your exact town. If birding is absolutely not your thing, there is still plenty out there. 2,900 acres of trails, disc golf, and archery ranges exist here. For healthcare, Christus Mother Frances Hospital in Tyler serves as your main backbone. Healthgrades has recognized it repeatedly among America's 50 best hospitals for joint replacement. Tyler sits roughly 45 minutes from wherever you land in Mineola itself. That is a completely manageable drive when something genuinely serious comes up medically. Historic downtown Mineola is genuinely walkable on any regular pleasant afternoon you choose. The Lake Country Playhouse has been screening films here for over a century. This town carries deep roots and real character that you can actually feel ideal. But here is the honest side of the Mineola picture for you now. Small-town living means limited options for dining and retail around you daily. East Texas humidity from June through September will test anyone coming from somewhere dry. For this price point, combined with that nature access, Mineola absolutely earns its place. Number 8. Brownwood. Brownwood never appears on any major retirement list, and that genuinely baffles me. Not once has this town gotten the recognition it clearly deserves from anyone. The median listing price in Brownwood sits at $255,000. Solid Central Texas affordability with no compromises on what actually surrounds the town. Here is what truly separates Brownwood from every other place on this list today. Howard Payne University has called this exact townhome for 136 years, and they actively welcome retirees to enroll in whatever courses genuinely interest them. Chemistry, poetry, history, whatever career life never gave you time to actually explore before. Now you have both the time and a university sitting right down your street. That kind of lifestyle perk does not show up on most retirement spreadsheets ever. Hendrick Medical Center Brownwood has been faithfully serving this community since 1969. Real hospital infrastructure with real history and real capability for your ongoing medical needs. Lake Brownwood State Park sits just 20 minutes outside of the downtown area. Now, here is the detail that genuinely caught me completely off guard about Brownwood. This town of 18,000 people has its very own regional airport operating today. For a town that size, having regional air access is genuinely unusual and valuable. The Senior Citizen Center here runs daily lunches, social groups, and regular exercise classes. Building a real social life in Brownwood takes almost zero effort on your part. Geographically, Brownwood sits near the very center of the entire state of Texas itself. You are roughly equidistant from several major metros without ever feeling suburban at all. Now, the honest stuff that every video should actually tell you up front and clearly. Specialty care requires a real drive toward either Abilene or Austin from here. The local economy is modest, and that is just the straightforward reality of it. Central Texas summer heat is absolutely exactly what you would expect it to be. A hospital, university, airport, and lake combined at this price point? That combination at $255,000 is genuinely hard to beat anywhere. And speaking of things that are hard to find, our next video covers 10 Texas towns where you can retire on Social Security alone. No extra savings required beyond your regular monthly Social Security benefit check itself. Hit subscribe right now so that video reaches you the moment it goes live. It will completely change how you think about Texas retirement options. Number 7. Nacogdoches. Nacogdoches is the single oldest town in the entire state of Texas. Not one of the oldest towns in a general historical sense at all. The oldest town in Texas. Full stop, no debate, no asterisk needed here. That title should make this place famous across every retirement list that exists. Somehow, it keeps getting completely skipped over, and that is baffling every time. The median listing price here was $282,200 recently. That is only 77% of what the statewide median currently sits at. You are getting a genuine 23% Texas discount just by choosing this town. Nacogdoches Memorial Hospital is the only Level 3 trauma center serving this entire region. For a town of this size, that level of medical infrastructure is truly remarkable. Stephen F. Austin State University brings something most small Texas towns simply cannot replicate. Public lectures, theater productions, and community events fill the calendar throughout the entire year. College towns keep retirees mentally engaged without requiring any extra effort from you personally. The university just makes it happen naturally all around you every single season. East Texas actually delivers real seasons that most of Texas simply cannot offer you. Fall color that rivals places located much further north appears here every year. Winters stay mild enough that outdoor activity remains comfortable for most of the season. The famous azalea trails bloom every spring in a display that draws statewide visitors. Angelina National Forest surrounds the entire region in beautiful, dense East Texas pine forest. Sam Rayburn Reservoir, one of Texas's genuinely largest lakes, sits within easy reach nearby. The honest concerns here are pretty direct and worth knowing before you commit fully. The nearest major airport sits roughly 140 miles away in Houston itself. East Texas summer humidity from June through September is legitimately intense every single year. If a dry climate is a hard requirement for you, East Texas will disappoint. But the history, affordability, nature access, and healthcare make this worth serious consideration always. Number 6. Seguin. 30 minutes from downtown San Antonio is the entire pitch for Seguin right there. That single number changes absolutely everything about how you should evaluate this town now. You get authentic small-town Texas living with a world-class hospital network 30 minutes away. Methodist, Baptist, and University health systems all operate in San Antonio within easy reach. The median listing price in Seguin currently sits at $295,000. Guadalupe Regional Medical Center operates a full campus right inside Seguin with emergency services. Local care handles the everyday stuff, and San Antonio handles anything truly serious medically. San Antonio International Airport is under 45 minutes from your door. Family visits no longer require connecting flights or complex travel planning at all. The Seguin Paddling Trail gives you lake access without waterfront pricing. The Sebastopol House historic site dates back to 1856 in Seguin. Austin Street Market Day brings fresh, local produce every single Saturday morning. The Senior Citizens Center runs lunches, bingo, and exercise classes for residents. Building a real social life in Seguin happens almost automatically here. The Seguin area is one of Texas's largest active pecan-producing regions. Fresh Texas pecans from right outside your door genuinely are incredible. Now, here's the honest picture before making any real decision today. Seguin is growing fast as San Antonio pushes its suburban sprawl outward. Interstate 10 traffic is noticeably heavier than it was 5 years ago. The quiet, small-town feel from a decade ago has started slowly shrinking. But access, affordability, and healthcare proximity make Seguin a very strong choice. Number 5. Alpine. Texas has mountains, and most people have genuinely forgotten that this is actually true. Real peaks rising nearly a mile above sea level exist in West Texas. Alpine sits right in the heart of that dramatic Chihuahuan desert elevation. Most Texans mentally erase this entire part of the state completely. Most Americans never even knew this part of Texas existed at all. That exact combination of facts is precisely why Alpine belongs on this list today. Sul Ross State University overlooks Alpine from a beautiful 93-acre campus. Retirees are actively welcomed for courses, lectures, and community events year-round. Downtown Alpine has a gallery scene nobody expects to find out here. Catchlight Art Gallery and Curry Studio are two examples operating downtown right now. Marfa sits 30 miles away with a global reputation for contemporary art. Yes, everything you have read about Marfa in any magazine is real. Big Bend National Park sits roughly 100 miles south of Alpine. It is one of the most dramatic, under-visited national parks in America. The McDonald Observatory offers some of the darkest skies in continental America. Stargazing out here is not a hobby you plan twice a year. It becomes a regular part of your actual daily retired lifestyle. Housing sits around $285,000 at the median price. Cost of living tracks meaningfully below the national average across nearly every spending category. But Alpine does ask something genuinely real from you in return. The nearest major city is Midland, sitting roughly 3 full hours away by car. If you need specialist care regularly, Alpine makes that genuinely difficult. The remoteness that draws some retirees in rules others completely out. Know honestly what your healthcare picture looks like in 10 years. If the answer is manageable, Alpine is the most spectacular Texas retirement. Number 4. Aransas Pass. Everyone rushes straight to Port Aransas for the Gulf Coast retirement dream every year. Everyone crowds into Corpus Christi and then wonders why it feels crowded. Aransas Pass sits quietly between both of them at a fraction of the price, and with a fraction of the actual people competing for space around you daily. Locals have quietly known about this place for years while tourists pass by. Fishing around Aransas Pass is legendary among serious Texas anglers everywhere. Redfish, speckled trout, and flounder run through these waters in remarkable numbers year-round. Mustang Island State Park is a short, comfortable drive from your door. San Jose Island is boat access only and looks like old Texas coastline. Miles of untouched Gulf coastline that feels like a privilege to access. Corpus Christi sits 20 miles away with a full major medical system. The Christus Spohn Hospital Network operates there as your serious medical care backbone nearby. You are not medically isolated the way some coastal towns leave you feeling. Housing here sits below the coastal average, and that signals real value. The Shrimping Festival every September is one of the Gulf Coast's best traditions. That annual community anchor is what makes a retirement town feel like home. Now, here's the honest conversation every responsible retirement video has to have. Hurricane and tropical storm risk along this coastline is absolutely not going away. Homeowners insurance in Texas has become one of the biggest financial factors now. The average Texas premium hit $6,522 last year. Rates climbed 19% in 2024 after 21% before that. Coastal properties pushed toward the top end of that steep premium range. Flood insurance is a separate cost added on top of regular homeowner coverage. Build all those real numbers into your budget before falling in love here. The view is absolutely worth it for the right retiree going in. Number 3. Jefferson. This is the moment in the video where everything suddenly stops making expected sense. Jefferson, Texas has a population of around 2,000 permanent residents living there today. The median home price in Jefferson is $116,000 total. Read that number one more time before moving on to anything else. $116,000 for a home in a real historic Texas town. An average adult in Jefferson spends around $38,000 annually on everything. That is your complete annual cost in a town with genuine historic character. Jefferson sits right along the beautiful Big Cypress Bayou winding through downtown. Canoeing and kayaking here are not vacation activities planned months ahead of time. They are simply how regular Tuesday afternoons go when you retire here. Victorian architecture here is so preserved that film crews regularly use it as sets. You could retire in a place that looks like a period drama set, except it is completely real, and it is your actual retired life. The Jefferson Historical Society Museum anchors the town's incredibly rich historical record. The Gone with the Wind Museum adds another layer of real cultural depth. The Vintage Car Museum proves this small town punches well above its weight. Caddo Lake sits 30 minutes away through the beautiful East Texas pine forest. If you have not seen Caddo Lake, picture cypress trees draped in Spanish moss. Water so still and dark it looks like something a painter composed on canvas. Wildlife fills every corner of that lake in a way that feels impossibly abundant. It is the kind of place that makes you question ever choosing city living. Now, for the honest limitations before you fall completely in love with Jefferson. The nearest full-service hospital in Marshall sits 35 miles down the road. Jefferson is a small town with very limited dining and retail options locally. The economy runs on tourism, which gives the whole town a preserved in amber quality. East Texas heat and humidity are in full effect from June through September. The isolation here is genuine and not something you can budget or wish away. But at $116,000, nothing on this list touches Jefferson's value. Number 2. Sonora. If Mineola is unknown and Jefferson surprised you, Sonora is in another category entirely. Population 2,700, where hill country meets open West Texas ranch land. Average housing cost in Sonora sits at $166,300. But before you process that number, let me tell you what is underneath Sonora. The caverns of Sonora sit directly beneath the ground Sonora is built on. Underground caves with crystalline formations so rare, scientists gave them a national landmark designation. These formations exist in this concentration almost nowhere else on the entire planet. You can live above a national natural landmark for under $200,000. That is one of the most absurd true sentences in any retirement video. Eaton Hill Nature Preserve adds peaceful, isolated walking trails for those preferring fresh air. The Old Sonora Ice House Ranch Museum preserves the deep ranching heritage here. Interstate 10 runs through Sonora, giving you real highway connectivity across the state. You stay connected to civilization without being surrounded by its daily congestion. West Texas night skies are extraordinary in a way that has to be experienced. Clear, dark skies so full of stars you suddenly remember constellations are real. Now, honesty genuinely matters for anyone seriously considering Sonora as a retirement destination. Sonora is small, and local healthcare is limited to basic services only. Any serious medical condition means a significant drive to reach real care. San Antonio sits about 165 miles away as your nearest large city. Population in Sonora has been on a slow downward trend for several years. If regular specialist care is part of your retirement reality, plan accordingly now. But for the retiree who values self-reliance, open space, and rock-bottom cost of entry, Sonora at $166,000 deserves your most serious, honest consideration now. This is what old Texas looked like before everything got expensive and crowded. Number 1. Kerrville. Everything on this list has been quietly building toward this one town. What makes Kerrville number 1 in 2026 is bigger than the town. It is about what Texas just did for every senior living here. In June 2025, Governor Abbott signed 3 major property tax relief bills. Texas voters then approved every single one of those bills in November. The result is a $200,000 exemption specifically for Texas seniors. The senior exemption jumped from $10,000 all the way to $60,000. Add the $140,000 exemption on top of that senior amount. The Houston Chronicle estimated over 60% of seniors could owe 0 school taxes. Not just reduced school taxes, 0 school district taxes, completely eliminated for most Texas seniors living here now. The freeze rule that already existed becomes even more powerful under this new structure. Once you qualify for the over 65 exemption, your school tax bill is permanently frozen. It freezes at whatever you owed the year you turned 65 years old. Your home value can double and the district can raise rates all at once. None of that touches your frozen bill while this remains your primary residence. Kerrville is where this historic tax change lands with the most meaningful impact. Insiders called Kerrville the retirement capital of Texas long before these laws passed. Now the tax structure has finally caught up to match Kerrville's existing reputation. Over 20 active retirement and 55-plus communities operate throughout Kerrville right now. This is not a town that happens to have a few senior options. It is a town genuinely built around making retirement work at every stage. Peterson Regional Medical Center is one of the most highly regarded hospitals in Texas. For 25,000 people, that level of medical infrastructure is genuinely extraordinary and rare. The Guadalupe River runs through the heart of Kerrville, creating a beautiful daily amenity. Tubing, fishing, and riverside trail walks are not occasional weekend plans you schedule ahead. They become regular Wednesday afternoon activities in your natural, retired daily routine. Kerrville Shriner State Park adds 500 acres of hiking and camping at your doorstep. Shriner University brings lectures, cultural events, and community programming year-round to Kerrville. Median home prices range between $295,000 and $340,000. Cost of living here tracks meaningfully below the national average across most spending categories. San Antonio International Airport sits 60 miles south, giving you real convenient travel access. Close enough for real flights, but far enough you never feel suburban at all. Now, the honest negatives, because Kerrville is not a perfect town with 0 issues. July averages 96 degrees, and Central Texas heat does not apologize for itself. The town is growing steadily, and housing inventory gets tight during peak demand periods. There is no meaningful public transportation in Kerrville, so a car is absolutely required. But for a retiree prioritizing strong healthcare, outdoor lifestyle, and hill country scenery, combined with one of the most favorable senior tax environments in the United States, Kerrville is not simply the best town on this list today. It is genuinely one of the best retirement destinations in all of America. So that's it for today, guys. If this video helped you in any real way, please like the video and hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment telling us which town surprised you the most out of the 10. And before you go, watch the video on the right side of your screen about the best mountain towns in Texas. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.